Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another series review. Recently I saw the latest episode of Downton Abbey and there's quite a bit going on in this particular episode. Anna and John have been able to do the best that they can to help their marriage, basically, after what's happened. Of course, they can't really overlook. There was a scene in this particular episode that explains everything. I think it was very symbolic and allegorical and depictive of what's going on in their relationship currently. But despite that, they're doing their best, and it seems that they're getting along a lot better. This episode is actually more about Lord Grantham and his upcoming birthday, and they try to keep a secret from him, and Baxter is trying to figure out what this secret is, and of course Thomas wants to be in cahoots with her. And I never really liked her from the very beginning. I thought, oh, she's going to be different from O'Malley, and no, she's not. she's got a moral compass, but yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that she's going to be different than O'Malley. O'Malley did have a soul. She did have a conscience, but she was always trying to undermine what would be happening upstairs, and Baxter doesn't seem to have that ulterior motive. At least at first blush, she doesn't seem to have that. But I don't know. It's hard to assess all the characters in this particular series. And Alfred, if you remember the last episode, he was given an opportunity to go to the Ritz in order to become a famous cook, and probably one of the best cooks ever known to humanity. And they gave him another chance because one of the students dropped out of the course, so he was fifth, and they basically grafted him back in, and he's leaving. Mr. Mosley, poor down Mr. Mosley, he's actually given another chance by Carson to be a footman. At first he just overtly assumes that Mr. Mosley thinks it's below him to be a footman, but Mr. Mosley really wants a job, and he will do anything. He's almost begging Carson to relieve him of his dire, tragic, tribulatory situation, and he does, which is quite telling of Carson's character. And the band leader, there's a band that's invited. Of course, this is by Rose's discretion, and nobody knows it. And it's Mr. Ross, and he's the first black character to be involved in Downton Abbey. And it's interesting little development with Mr. Ross. I'm not going to say what happens, but I thought, hoo, scandal, scandal, scandal. Yeah, but it is the jazz age, so it makes sense. Well, to me, it does. And Edith, she undergoes some tragedy in this episode as well, with Michael Grace and her fiance. Well, I don't know if you can call him fiance, significant other. Yeah, they're basically living together. They're not married. So I think in that society, her mother and her father, it's not much is said. They don't even talk about it. But I think in that society, it wasn't very highly thought upon. It was one thing that they thought, oh, they're living in sin. Well, she mentions that in the previous episode, which I thought was very intriguing. But other than that, mention none other indication of that is actually forthright. So it kind of makes you wonder if the family has any say in her relationship with Michael, but it's really difficult. And of course Mary, she's introduced to a couple of men who are more interested in the estate, well, not really the estate, but the potential of farmland, because Downton is basically down on its luck. At the there's an oil deal that goes south, and of course Robert talks about that, and I think it was from a cousin. I can't remember where this letter was coming from. I can't recall. It wasn't Scotland because we already had an episode with the relatives in Donegal. Maybe we'll have another one, I'm hoping, because I really liked that episode because I love Scotland. I've always wanted to go to Scotland. I've got heritage in Scotland, and it just makes me feel nostalgic and also very homesick, kind of, which is strange because I'm an American person. But this new turn in basically the management of Downton is also very fascinating, I think, and very telling. And then you get to see the dynamic of all the characters, with the secret that the servants are keeping downstairs from Robert about his birthday, and the band coming. And it's really quite an enjoyable episode, and I absolutely loved it. And Lady Grantham, Violet, the Dowager Countess, she has some really funny lines. And Isabel has some actually very good, pithy one-line zingers about material possessions, and it's really quite funny. And if you see this episode, see it for that scene in itself alone, because it is absolutely hysterical. And the series just keeps getting better and better and better, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I don't know what will occur next. They didn't have a preview of next episode, so maybe this is the finale of season 4. Who knows?